But yeah, Chelsea now out of the top four after this turn of results, with Manchester City going above them and Newcastle just behind them. And those two teams faced off this weekend too, in what was an unpredictable encounter. I don't know what I would have said the score might have been before the game between Man City and Newcastle, but 4-0 was unexpected. Even though it was at the Etihad, it felt like a surprise. But the key to that really was a bright start and a really energetic performance once again from Omar Marmoush, who bagged a hat-trick first of all, a really impressive trio of goals too, and takes the weight off Erling Haaland quite a bit, doesn't it, Marmoush's performances? What do you think City are going to get out of this play now from what you've seen so far? Because he started brightly, but these finishes are like a different level from what we've seen. He looks great, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a different kind of player, and we've mentioned it, over the last few weeks, that he does bring a different dimension to this City team. It gives them that little bit of unpredictability. I think his movement is so clever at times as well. Like he offers like that running in between the lines in those channels. He can do it all. To be honest, he can run in behind. And like I say, I just think, particularly over the last few months, at times City have just become predictable. They've lost that energy, I think, that they had with when they obviously press high. We've seen it in moments. We saw it in the Real Madrid game actually in midweek. There was times in the game when you were just wondering, like, where's this City team being? Because all of a sudden they were pressing that a little bit higher. Their defence would sit a little bit higher up the pitch. They'd be winning the ball back. It's not been the case over the last few months. And I think a lot of it has got to do with confidence. I think when you've got the players that can make a difference, and be able to put them in the positions to do the damage, I think they will be more adventurous. And we saw that in games. We definitely saw that in this game against Newcastle. They definitely took advantage of the fullbacks. I thought Hall and Trippier had really bad games. Hall particularly for one of the Marmoush goals. I thought his just positioning was bad. And he just let him buy it. Let Savinho buy him so easily, didn't he?
Yeah.
To pull that cross back. And they really exposed them in those areas, it felt like. And coming into this game, you just expected a lot more, I think, from Newcastle, especially midweek after that collapse again. The amount of times that's happened this season from Man City in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of games when they've lost the lead. You did expect a lot more. I know I did, because Newcastle as a team, we know they can put teams to bed in moments in games. In 15, 20 minutes with some of the players that they have and just the intensity they play. I really thought they'd take the game to City, and just wasn't really the case.
Well, City go through something of an evolution, aren't they? And I think looking across at our noisy neighbours, Dave, in Manchester, and seeing them spending the money they've spent in January, but on really positive additions. These are players that have not been bought for a massive fee, but they've been identified and scouted as a need in the team and almost slotted in instantly. You could obviously argue that Kusanov was slightly unprepared for his debut, but it feels like he could find his feet in the Premier League fairly quickly. And I think Marmoush is definitely someone who they needed, because they've tried quite a few attacking wingers across that forward line, haven't they? They haven't quite captured the kind of energy and skill and balance that Riyad Mahrez had, for example. I don't think they ever truly replaced him. Foden's not been quite the same player this season, but Marmoush was so unpredictable. And that was the difference, I thought, especially with, you talked about confidence of the forwards. They all didn't know what he was going to do either. So there was this element of the ball could go anywhere. He could shoot, he could pass, but you've got to be ready for it. And that's exciting. It's the first time I've seen the Etihad even slightly noisier this season, which is quite rare for City. It looks like City seem to be a little bit more, optimistic and positive.